Hi, welcome to this edition of the Church Answers podcast. My name is Tom Rayner. We, as always, are sponsored by Belay Solutions. You've heard me talk about them. They're the incredible organization that can provide you virtual workers as an executive assistant, as a bookkeeper. Go to belaysolutions.com and just look them up and see all the different alternatives that you can have there. As I've told you, we've been using Belay Solutions for years and years. We continue to. They have a download for you called 25 Tasks a Pastor Can Delegate to an Assistant. You can see that in the show notes, or you can go to belaysolutions.com/Tom Rayner, or you can just go to belaysolutions.com and just see all the offerings that they have there. Okay, we're going to address an issue that is an age-old issue. This is not something that is cutting edge, nor is it something that most people have never heard of. It is the whole issue of bloated membership rolls. I've looked at it from a local church point of view. I've looked at it from a denominational point of view. Let me just give you one example. This would be the largest Protestant denomination in the United States, Southern Baptist Convention. Currently, they have over 14 million people on their rolls. Okay? That's their membership rolls. How many people show up on a given Sunday? Fewer than 4 million. That is a big gap. And you say, well, some people take vacation and some people are sick. Well, they're not that sick. There's a lot of AWOL people there. I suspect that there are a lot of people who are in graveyards that are on membership rolls these days, not only in the Southern Baptist Convention, but in other denominations and churches as well. We're going to address the issue of membership rolls that are bloated. Okay, let's get back to the basics of this. First question is this: why? Why do we even need to address this issue of bloated membership rolls? Why? Because we who are church leaders, we who are shepherds, we who are group leaders, these people on our rolls are sheep that we're supposed to be shepherding. They're people for whom we are supposed to have accountability. They're the ones that we are supposed to minister to. They are the people in our church. And if we have a fake or large number, we don't know who we're missing and who we're not. So the first thing that we have to do is say, if we're really going to care for these people, we have to have an accurate membership. But there's a second point to this. And the second point is that membership should be meaningful. It should not merely be filling out a card or walking an aisle or raising a hand or just saying, I choose to be a part of it. Membership should have meaning. When Paul wrote to the church at Corinth in 1 Corinthians 12, he started referring to those in the church as members of the body of Christ. And he did so to talk about the different members of the body, talking about the hands and the feet and the eyes and the mouth. And he was saying, a body is not complete without all of these members. Likewise, a church is not complete unless it has all of its members working together effectively. So there is a biblical, ecclesiological reality that bloated membership rolls are really unbiblical. So we have two things going on there. We can't minister to everybody that is on the roll if they're not present, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be our sheep. And then it is unbiblical to say that you're a part of a church, but not actually participate in the life of the church. That's some of the reasons. We can spend a lot of time on that, but I want to go to some of the whys, and not some of the whys, but to some of the hows on dealing with a bloated membership roll. Okay, Tom, I'm going to acknowledge to you, you are telling me right now in this fictitious conversation, I'm going to acknowledge to you that my membership roll is bloated. Now, just to give you kind of a heads up, in my last church, we had over 2,000 on the roll, and our worship attendance rarely hit over 1,000. So I was guilty. I should have done something more, but that's been a long time ago. And I guess in the so-called wisdom of age, I've been able to look at this issue more seriously. So what do we do? I've talked to a lot of leaders who've addressed bloated membership rolls. I went to Church Answer Central, which is a part of our membership site, great interaction that takes place there. And they had a discussion on it. So I really know what pastors and other leaders are doing to address the issue of bloated membership rolls. So let me just share with you what they're doing. Well, the first thing that they do is round one. They ask the members to look at the roll and particularly look at those who seem to be inactive and see if you recognize their names. So the first thing you're doing is just asking your church members, here's a list of people that we haven't seen in quite a while. Will you go over this list and tell us if you know anything about them? What you're doing is you're giving the church members an awareness. You're giving them the opportunity to look at them, and they may have some good information. They will have some good information for you. So round one is not necessarily a deletion round, but it could be, because it is a possibility someone's going to come back and say, well, that person's been dead for 10 years. Probably don't need to keep him on our active membership roll. Or this person has moved away and they've joined another church. The list could go on and on. You might be able to deal with some of your membership roll just by asking people in your church if they know anything about them. Round two is this, and I would tell the church you're going to do this. You send a letter, presuming you have their address, you send a letter to those who are inactive that were not called in round one. And you ask them if they would, if they are still active in the church, and if they would like to choose to still be a member. You're giving them the option. Or if they would like to tell you that they've moved on and you can delete them from the roll. So you're getting voluntary action from that list. Now, it's very possible you're not going to be able to find everybody their address as part of the problem. You don't know where they are. But you can address some of them just by sending them letters. Wouldn't send emails. I'd send snail mail letters and just say, hey, we're going through our membership roll. Notice you haven't been here a while, and give them options. Would you like to, do you still consider yourself an active member of this church? Have you gone somewhere else and therefore would like to be removed from the rolls? You're giving the inactive members their option. The first thing you did was you gave your active members an option, and in round two, you're giving them and the inactive members an option as well, too. Round three begins the incremental stage of removing people from the roles that neither have been self-volunteered by the inactive members or by the members either. And it becomes incremental. You start finding ways to deal with this on an incremental basis. And every church is different on how you're going to incrementally do that. But you don't try to just cull all the roles at one time in most established churches. So you do so incrementally. That's round three. Round four, after you have gone through this, get the church buy-in on this. Develop some type of process or policy to deal with inactive roles. So develop some type of process or policy. You're not addressing individuals at this time. Now you're coming up with a policy. And I would say this would be around the 1 year point, maybe 1.5 years since the beginning of dealing with the membership roles. Once your members see that you have done due diligence by going to them, the active members, by addressing the inactive members, by going through an incremental process that maybe, to kind of use more and more metaphors, dealt with the low-hanging fruit, removing people that cause the least amount of conflict, and then you start developing a policy or process. Will it be painless? No, I don't think so. But it will be less painful than just trying all at one fell swoop to eliminate half of your role or 2/3 of your role. I believe that membership is important. I wrote a little book called I Am a Church Member. Obviously, I believe that. And I believe that the Bible teaches that. Therefore, we need to do something with our bloated membership rolls, because having people on our rolls who have no intention nor desire to be a part of our church anymore is not biblical. So that's my 2 cents. I hope it helps, especially the practical application. As always, thank you, particularly those of you who are coming through YouTube, and then those of you who are coming through a podcast app. Thank you. Give us a rating, a review, subscribe to us, whatever the way it is that you connect through, the way you're connecting with us. Do so. And as always, thank you for Belay. Don't forget belaysolutions.com/Tom Rainer and get their free download that they're offering as well. Thank you as always for being a part of the Church Answers podcast. We will see you in the next episode. Hey, folks, this is a PS to our podcast. We got some exciting stuff that we want to offer you absolutely for free. Sam, when you think about predictive factors in a church's growth, if you take out demographics, what are some things that come to mind? Just two. I mean, don't give me a list of 10. Just two or three things that come to mind on predictive growth of a church.
Well, evangelism and whether the church is doing it or not.
Bingo.
And then I will add, is it an ongoing evangelism emphasis?
Double bingo. Well? And maybe something about leadership and their commitment to that. So all of the above.
Evangelistic churches have evangelistic pastors. Is the staff, is the lead pastor doing the work themselves?
We have a free download for you, and it's actually a sheet that you can self-score. You answer 20 questions, anywhere from strongly disagree to strongly agree, and we come back and we predict what your growth rate is going to be for the next year in worship attendance. It's not a perfect tool, but it's a good tool. There's a link to that for the attendance predictor. Look in the show notes. You'll absolutely love it. That's cool. We'll see you soon.